to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cheryl, would you do roll call, please?
Weiss,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
Waldron,
Yes.
Howe,
Yes.
Remy. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Let's get that on audio. And then do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's proceed to vote.
Tao,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
Waldron,
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. First item then is approval of the minutes from last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the October 1st, 2024 Planning and Zoning regular meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Any items in the minutes? Then let's proceed to vote.
Bright,
Yes.
Waldron,
Yes.
Tao,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. Next item is public participation. Anyone here care to speak? Limited to 3 minutes. Seeing and hearing none, we'll proceed to public hearings, of which we have none. And unfinished business, we have none. New business, cash in lieu review. Nancy?
Good evening. So this is a pretty simple request for a really complicated issue, so I'm going to try and do my best for you. The section 4.05, which is the subdivision chapter of our land use code, outlines the public land dedication requirements for a new subdivision within the city. I'm not going to read it for you, but the basic idea is that a new subdivision, and there are some exceptions, but a new subdivision is required to dedicate 5% of the gross land area for public parks and purposes. If it's not appropriate to dedicate a public park in a subdivision, which it usually isn't, or the subdivision is smaller than 20 acres, there is an option to pay a fee in lieu or cash in lieu. Our code requires that cash in lieu fee be reviewed every so often. It's set by the code as, and let me go over here because this is what we're doing tonight, is that amount is based on the market value of the number of acres that would be required to be dedicated. So, example, you have a 20-acre subdivision, a 100-acre subdivision, you'd have to dedicate 5 acres, right? That's my simple math. I think I got that right. If you had a smaller subdivision, it's still that 5% rule. And the code requires that you figure out what the fee instead of the land dedication would be based on the market value of that land, the 5% of your subdivision. And then it has a methodology in the code for figuring that out, and it states that we will utilize an average per acre value calculated of the current fair market value for raw lands adjacent to the city of Cortez, using an average value calculated over the previous 5 years. And then that average will be what we use to require the fee in lieu. And I got to tell you, we haven't required this, we haven't had a subdivision like this in the last few years. I'm not sure when the last time this was used. The last time the fee was updated, though, was in 2021. So the city, who sets all the fees in December, asked us to look at to do the 5-year average again, and per process in the code, it comes before the Planning Commission to review that, and then it would go to the city council to adopt that number as the fee. So, again, it's super complicated, but what we did to establish that fee, because it says raw lands adjacent to the city of Cortez, is we looked at land sales of vacant county land, so that's not in a subdivision, and is within the 3-mile boundary of the city. So because it doesn't define adjacent, we used the 3-mile planning area. Seemed fairly reasonable choice. And then because it says raw land, we took out any land that was in, say, a developed subdivision, or any land within city limits of Cortez, because that wouldn't be raw land. It would have utilities already brought to it. It's already developed land. So we gave you the spreadsheet of all of those sales in the last 5 years within the 3-mile boundary, raw land only. I threw out a couple, one that was super high in the millions and one that was super low in the hundreds. Those seem to be outliers, so we threw those out, calculated the average, and what that came to then for 2024, or the last 5 years, is an average per acre value of $26,218. And then if you take 5% of that, it would set the fee at $1,310 per acre. Okay, so I either put everyone to sleep or confused all of you. That fee, if it gets assessed for subdivision, is used either to purchase additional parkland for the city. There's one statement in there that says it can go towards maintenance of existing city parks. But it appears that it is intended to be for purchase of parks held in a special account. If it's not spent within 10 years, it can go back to the developer. What else did I leave out? Any questions?
I would add that Nancy didn't make up the numbers. She contacted the assessor's office, who provided the data, so.
It was actually a combination of the assessor's office and GIS. Because the assessors don't have the ability to figure out where the sales are. There's something wonderful.
You might mention what the previous fee was based on, what the average value. This year, it came out to 26.
So, yeah, right now, that fee is the per acre land value back in 2021, for the 5 years before that, was $13,500 per acre, which set the fee at $675 an acre. So as you can see, obviously, from what is that, backwards, 2016, 17, to 2021, from 2024 to 2021 is, or 2019 is, it's gone up, almost double.
So is this something we have to do every year or every 5 years?
It doesn't actually say, but we're assuming it's in the every 5 years range. They set the fees every year, and since it hadn't been updated since 2021, it was suggested that we do that. It doesn't really say how often we have to do it. You could do it every year, or you could skip a few.
I would assume if we did it every year, it wouldn't seem like such a large increase.
Yeah, it would make sense to do it more often than we have.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Nancy? I guess I would entertain any discussion or a motion.
I make a motion that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the council approve the value of $26,218 per acre and associated 1,310 cash in lieu fee option for granting property for public land dedication.
Is there a second?
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seems like a reasonable procedure to me. Let's proceed to vote.
Waldron,
Yes.
Tao,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. Next on the item of business is, the county sent us, looks like a review proposal, and Nancy, guess you get to present that.
Want to show them it, or you all have it in front of you with where the project is? So this is a request from the county. The project is within the three-mile boundary of the city of Cortez. They're proposing 2 retail, where'd it go? So do we have the address? It's at the intersection of Highway 145 and County Road N, 3.7 acre parcel. There'll be 2, what they're calling variety retail buildings, one 10,000 square foot and one smaller one at 1,500 square feet. This, although it's within our planning boundary, it is not within the master street plan. So there's no comments for that. I'll tell you, though, that this is the same site where there was a very controversial request last year? Was it last year? For a convenience retail store. At that point, we did not comment, mostly because it was not within our street area, not within our 1 mile boundary. So the county expressed some concern that the city hadn't commented, so I just want to make sure that you heard about it and had the opportunity to comment.
This is the Dollar General situation.
They're not calling it that anymore, but.
Of course not.
Yeah, I'm assuming that 10,000 square foot retail store might be $1.
I actually went to the county planning and zoning and listened to all of the comments and whatnot. I'm not familiar with if county planning and zoning, can they put the kiboshes on something without it going to the county commissioners?
I don't think they can, I mean, they could recommend against it, but I don't.
Yeah, same as with
Is it the same procedure? Because they voted it down, and I don't ever know that it got to the county commissioners.
yeah,
Well, this is going to the county commissioners,
It,
so.
anyway, when they do have their public hearing, I would encourage people to maybe attend because it's rather interesting.
Well, and I think the date, it's coming up in front of the county commissioners. Where is that? November 14th. So a week from Thursday,
Does it have the time?
6 PM.
Okay. Yeah, and all we can do is make some comment, and anybody's welcome to make a comment back to the county. I would like to say to thank you, the county, for keeping us informed, and the due diligence of everything that they're presenting. And it'll be interesting to see how the county reacts to the change in their plans. That'd be my only comment, I guess, is thank them for all the information, and it'll be interesting to see how anything has really changed. Anybody else care to?
I think I would concur with your comment.
Okay, then I guess we would go to other items of business, and Katrina is going to be leaving us. This is her last night on her term, and she's not going to re-up, so thank you, Katrina, for all of your services. And we are advertising for another position, but we will probably at our next meeting have to elect a vice president, or a vice chair, I guess, so that we'd know who would have to take charge, so, if I'm not here. Thank you, Katrina. Any other comments? And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Let's proceed to vote.
Waldron,
Yes.
Bright,
Yes.
Tao,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. And we may make up for it in December.